Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do GOG by DC Comics. So this is a one-shot. This comes from the pages of Kingdom Kong, part of the newest evil, event. Kingdom Kong is, in my opinion, one of the best DC storylines out there, and there's a lot of side characters, comics, events. It's hard to keep up with everything, but I think I got a lot of them. Probably not everything. But GOG was a character that hated Superman, and there was a reason for that, but I didn't know. Now I know why. This is the origin of GOG. It's written by Mark Waid and drawn by Jerry Ordway. So let's dive in. So this is Kansas when everything was destroyed. Superman found his boy, and then we go to I don't know, somewhere else. And we have all this pantheon of powerful being, gods, etc., and cosmic beings. We have the Phantom Stranger, one of the Guardians, the Sorcerer of Shazam, that guy from the New Gods, and I don't know who this is. Maybe Zeus, but I'm not entirely sure. And they say he is the one. We agreed then. Yes. We have we any hope of altering the course of the earth's cataclysmic fate? It lies within him. He shall be our agent. So they are, I don't know, powering some kind of a scroll with all the details and the places and the events that led to the destruction of Kansas and the power to change it. So the Phantom Stranger is the delivery boy, basically. And so we go to the future in 2031, I'm sorry. And there is Minister William. He is a devoted, minister of the Lord. And the Lord is not, Jesus Christ or God. No, he is Superman. And why is he that? Well, there's a reporter from the Daily Planet. This is also an Olsen, by the way, like Jimmy Olsen, and he is interviewing this man, and he says, look at it, it's magnificent. This wonderful world in which we live, this is utopia, this golden age, it's his gift, his reward. Surrender your faith unto Superman until he will deliver. So he goes with him and he explains all, what's happened in the past, etc. And so he says, you were there before the cataclysm, for the enlightenment. And he says, yes, a great spiritual awakening. 20 years ago, into the new millennium, Superman tested our faith. He and his disciples disappeared. In their absence, the world was overruled by false prophets, he says. Champions whose nihilistic carelessness cost the world 1 million lives in Kansas alone. Those of us who rejected them, who maintained the true faith, were then rewarded when Superman arose to pull the world back from the brink of nuclear destruction. And so he goes on, and he says, well, that's interesting. And then he reveals that he is going to open some kind of a church, but also that, Olsen, I'm not sure it's Jimmy, but Jimmy says, well, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe he abandoned us, and when he came back, it's an atonement for his sins. And he says, well, that's an interesting interpretation. Superman is above sin. He is divine. Even now, he moves among us as an example of perfection, watching over me, over you, us. I said us. And so he, skipping a few pages, so he's, showing the church of Superman. And then it will begin tomorrow. So he's going to open up. He says, tell the world about it, Mr. Olsen. So they are parting ways. So they're going back to the Daily Planet. So when he says, so he's a nut. Not at all. He's passionate, says fake Jimmy. Maybe we should all be nuts. To be honest, I feel for him. He's a good man. His heart is as big as the world. But he's riding for a fall someday. Someone who's going to show him the light. So and then we switch to Kal, who is observing him. And then later, he is going to visit William. And he says, my God, So Superman, or Clark, is talking to William. He says, I've been hearing about you lately. Yeah, and I remember you the boy from Kansas. When it exploded 20 years ago, that drew me out of the retirement. I immediately I went looking for survivors. I found only you, wandering, what's the word? Periphery of the blast and lost and alone. And you've grown up and you're doing good things. Thank you, he says. I just don't understand why after 1 million died in Kansas, you would do this in my name. Because they gave their lives for a reason, of course. It was your will. He says, yes, I saw unspeakable horrors. I lost everything I knew. I wandered lost and alone. I survived only because I realized the truth, that nothing so catastrophic could have occurred so senselessly. Kansas was your test of faith, and I passed. That's why you chose me alone to be your messenger, and I have labored hard to earn that trust, Superman. But Superman says, I didn't choose you. What happened to Kansas? It wasn't my will. It was my fault. What? He says, I had retired. I turned away from serving mortal men when I thought they will no longer embrace the same virtues as I did. Because I left others who were able to rise to power. I failed you, William. They took Kansas not because I wanted them to, because I wasn't there to stop them. And so he says, I am not a god. I didn't single you out because you were special. You were lucky. So he says, I'm not special. Everyone is special, William. And more ads. So William recalls the events. And he says, from the bottom of my heart, I ask for your forgiveness. I made a mistake. I underestimated my role and influence of mankind. It is an error and will probably always make, but I will never finish paying for it. I'm not a true prophet, William. I'm sorry. And then William just snaps. He burns his church. He goes on the streets harassing people, asking for the purpose. Tell me what to believe. I have nothing. Tell me something. What does he want from us? I do not know. Tell me what to do. Then the Phantom Stranger. By the way, Phantom Stranger I hope his origin is still the same. He is actually Judas from the Bible, that betrayed Jesus. And he is here because he needs to atone for all eternity for what he has done. So, yeah, there are some parallels here. I like that he is an instrument of what's going to happen. So he says, what is this? So the Phantom Stranger says, history, knowledge, purpose. And the art is so freaking good because what happens next, look at this. So he's burning. He sees events happening in Foldham from the past, maybe in the future, because I have never seen this particular part or this. Of course, I don't have all the comics, but I've never seen, I don't know. I believe this is Wally West because of the red hair. Going on a tantrum. Is this Lex Luthor killing, I don't know, someone, but I mean, and he's burning while all these gods are looking at him. And Jesus Christ, this looks so freaking cool. Captain Atom in all his incarnations. Ra's al Ghul delivering babies, sacrificing babies? I don't know. I love this image. This is so powerful. Look at this, all these ghostly images are like, oh, it's so freaking cool. Jerry Ordway is such a fantastic artist. Not a personal fan of his, little outburst lately on Twitter. But as an artist, freaking awesome. And then GOG is born. And he says, what I have seen. So Phantom Stranger explains dominoes, the hundreds of actions, some large, some small. Some all led to the destruction of Kansas. The true role of Superman and his peers in the cataclysm that defined your life. You have been granted the power to manipulate the events. You can now change history and avert tragedy. Now, I'm not sure why he wants to do that because they live in an utopia now. Why would you change anything? Why would the powerful pantheon of superpowered beings wants to change or meddle in human affairs, because there's a lot of evidence that they didn't want to do that, through the years of, DC history. But now somehow they want to intervene. Maybe I'm just missing part of the puzzle. So William here now rises, reborn. There is a right and wrong in this universe, and the distinction is not hard to make. You are a good man. Now you have the rights. You know the rights and the wrongs, all of them. Are you prepared to act upon them? Oh, yes. But before he can finish this, he's gone. And then he goes to somewhere, I don't know. Superman is in his Clark Kent form, is repairing a bridge, because probably everybody knows his true identity now. So William comes and he recognizes him, and he said, "Hey, are you here to help? That would be great. But then I'm here for judgment." And he instantly kills Superman with his, I don't know, cosmic staff or whatever. It looks freaking awesome, and the bridge is exploding, killing a lot of people in here. This looks so cool. And also he does this. So he grabs the corpse of Superman and he smashes him into the concrete. I love this image. I always loved, and they don't do that anymore, that when, especially with superpowered beings and Superman comics from years ago, they heroes and villains just smacked into the ground or into concrete, and we always see the imprint of that impact, like you are seeing here. That is so cool that we don't see much anymore, or any at all. I really miss this kind of way of drawing. And so William is going on a rant, and he says, "You nearly had me. Now I know the truth. You tricked me into believing your lies, into telling others that you were our savior, that you wouldn't let evil befall us. You didn't want to compete. You didn't want the competition. How could I forget? We cannot buy the villainy of false prophets, for there is no greater evil than yours. I was blind, but now I see. You are the ultimate evil of legend, a winged creature alien to us, cast out of paradise like a star falling from the sky. A being persuasive and charismatic, of tremendous power, posing as a godsend to sway man, spirits of his teachings, a beast identified by one distinctive mark." That is so cool. So he uses the mark of Superman to, kill people. Let's say, especially Superman, because this is, of course, in the future. So he says, so he's going on a rant. Now that you are gone, but even in death, your insidious touch taints everyone and everything in this remade kingdom of yours. To make it clean, I must go back and expose your darkness before it takes root. He says, I will show the world the depth of your evil by linking you clearly to the cataclysm you allowed. You escaped blame for the horror of Kansas only because it happened after you retired. That Superman can be changed. So he goes back in time, and he is killing Superman over and over and over and over in every timeline. 1983, 1997, 1948, 2001. Well, just not 2001, but through the ages. And then the Pantheon realizes this mistake. I mean, our Judas here, Phantom Stranger, this cannot be right. Sadly, typical a human mind is oftentimes incapable of comprehending the wisdom of the gods. It's entirely likely that the vastness of our knowledge has tainted him with madness. And so he has interpreted your wisdom to fill the emptiness of his own soul. You have done the unthinkable. You created something who hates Superman. If he's to be your agent of change, he hardly is fit for the task. On the contrary, he's perfectly equipped. But Phantom Stranger does not know what they mean. How? He is now an angel of rage, of vengeance. You heard him. Not only will he not prevent the tragedy of Kansas, he plans to accelerate it. Exactly. Dun, dun, dun. The end for now. So I'm not sure why this was important to them. I forget that particular information, but as a one-shot, this is fantastic because I always wanted to know who GOG is, where he came from, and how he was created. Now I know, and this is just freaking fantastic. I just love the revelation that a once disciple of good and justice is now turned into a corrupted version of that particular religion, and is doing in his mind great things, but he is an agent of evil now, although he does not know it. What a tragedy, but what a great comic this is. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I see you next time.